And we are back. The winner's bracket continues. Optic Gaming facing off against Justus here on the main stage. And Justus, of course, one of the surprise teams of the tournament. But before we get too far into this one, guys, we should talk about what we've seen leading up to this moment. FaZe, who looked perfect on Friday, looking great earlier this morning, defeated by Elevate. The teams that are coming in as the number 2 from the pools, having a bit of success. One of the teams, though, that's on top of their game, Denial, a perfect 16-0 at this point in the event.
Yeah, I got the opportunity to cast him a couple times so far. This pickup of Classic, I've said it time and time again, fits in perfectly with this team. He's the man who's going to clear out the middle of the map for the squad, make sure there's no kind of hidden flanks coming around to make sure his team doesn't get caught off guard. And when that can happen, when you have the slaying power of the rest of his team, no one can get any kills on the map. They've outslayed their opponents by so much.
There's a big piece of this too. You know, there's been a lot of stuff. It's been officially announced next year going to be 18+. Who do you think has more to prove at the final event of the year in Advanced Warfare? You have 3 guys that are underage. You have Hook, you have TJ Haley, and you have Tim. 2 of them on that roster, and now you have all 3 actually going to be matching up. There's no one here that's playing for more, and who could be, in my opinion.
That, of course, is all going down in the bottom half of the bracket, but here we're now in the top half of the bracket. Optic Nation versus Envy over on Bravo. We are going to be watching Optic Gaming versus Justus, and Maven, this is a squad you've had a chance to cast quite a bit. Tell me about the run you've seen from Spacely and the boys.
Well, I watched the Denial series. I think you casted earlier, and they got 3-0'd, but it was close. They had a lot of strong games, young team. They held their composure. They were in the games. I then had the opportunity to cast both their match against Rise and then also against Epsilon. They beat Rise in a game 5 where you would think if anyone has an edge, you would give it to Rise, right? You have Aches on your team. You have that veteran leadership. You don't think these young kids are going to come out. But Assault has been playing out of his mind, Jack.
And another thing to point out, too, in that game, they had multiple resets. I think the game took 40 minutes.
We had 4 resets.
Yeah.
I think it was kind of that loadout glitch. People weren't able to get into the game. Then somebody dropped. It took, it was a good 45, 50 minutes for the game. So you think that's going to favor, again, the more veteran players.
These young guys.
You have Burns, you have Aches, you have Wheats, these guys that have been around forever. And this group of young players just didn't care, man. They crushed.
Not phased at all. And you mentioned how Assault's been playing well all weekend.
He's been nuts.
Kenny, who really broke out at one of the last previous major events, is continuing to do it this weekend. Envoy also playing very well. And Spacely is that rock that this team needs. They've stuck it together. They've worked. And now they've improved coming into this event. We've already seen FaZe get upset. I mean, who knows? This is another one that we can really see going their way.
And what was really funny for me is, you know when you watch those top BAL players and they're just like shoot lasers.
Yeah.
He's been playing on Formal the entire time, just shooting darts at people, crushing them. Chris, it's been fun to watch, man.
Hey. I'm looking forward to it, man. Assault putting on a show over on Bravo. We saw Kenny with some great games in the respawns here on Alpha. Justus, though, they're going to need all 4 players to be at their best if they want to take down our #1 seed. Let's get it going here. Optic Gaming versus Justus here in Winners Bracket Round 1. Benson, TP, take it away, my friends.
Thank you very much, guys. Game kicking off. Benson joined by TP for this one. Worth mentioning a couple of incorrect game attacks because Justus coming out of the open bracket. We'll get those to you as soon as we possibly can. But Optic Gaming looking to continue a pretty dominant tournament so far. Not the most dominant, of course. Not Denial. It's not 16-0 on map count, but still so far cruising through TP. Do you think Justus is going to be able to put up a big fight here or not?
It's going to be extremely tough for them, especially with how strong OG is individually, honestly. But we saw before, FaZe completely struggled versus that Elevate team. We did not think that was going to happen, so anything is possible in a huge tournament like the MLG Finals here in New Orleans. But first off, Formal stepping it up. Huge 3-kill streak right there, trying to open up the map a little bit, but Justus definitely getting the better hand of this hill. All about that rotation to green, though. Looks like Optic sitting back a little bit, just making sure they're milking some of this time to even up the score, but the rotate needs to start going down.
Crim6 going to be key to watch for that rotation. He may actually just dip in towards side green, picks up 1. Now looking to push through. Can have the second right in front of him. Not going to be able to clean him up. Formal, meanwhile, with the belt. Got himself into a nice position here, TP. And to be honest, he should be good to hold down the spawn.
Yeah, great stuff from Formal right there. Nice 2 kills, almost a 3 on Temp. Or not Temp, sorry. Gamer Kit Tag, little bit of a shuffle right now. We'll find that out for you guys instantaneously. Just give us a few minutes. But overall, Justus, stacking the hill much better than OG. Formal was picking up those kills at that back bus stop, but didn't really matter. As long as you don't get the crates control, all those kills were kind of in vain for Formal and the OG squad.
Nice plays coming from Justus, holding down green for a significant amount of time. And it was reminiscent, really, of MLG finals for Optic Gaming when it comes to hardpoint. A little bit of a slow start, but they do kind of creep back. They just keep chipping away at the deficit, and then all of a sudden when it comes to the final hill, they just kind of flick a switch deep. It's just like going clutch.
Exactly. We saw it a lot in the group play where a lot of the top teams were struggling a little bit, but it always comes down to that one sort of money hill. They're able to just completely outplay the other team on it, hold the spawn points, push them out, get that constant aggression, and just able to bring that score back very, very quickly. The biggest thing, though, is you can't let the score get too far away from you initially. Luckily, OG able to get that 4 dead. A little bit of a struggle for some of the players. Crim, Scump, Karma struggling a bit, but it's all good. They're milking a lot of this garage time. Seem to have most of the gunfights going down. Huge 2-piece from Karma there at the bottom. Great stuff from them to come back into this game.
Yep, this Garage Hill has been locked down, and this Crim now extends to a 3 streak. Picked up 2. Back ramp, Karma with a team kill, though, on Formal. See how costly that could potentially be with the spawns. You can see those red arrows, of course, Justus. They do have that favorable spawn, but Crim6 able to just hold out a little bit. Scumpy in a position to maybe trade this kill. In fact, it's going to be Formal who jumps in there and helps out, and Optic Gaming have massively reduced that deficit.
Yeah, just like that, just what we were explaining about before. If you're able to get that back statue control, it leads into the next one. Moving over to Yellow Scump. Wow, taken out very instantly by that Justus player. Going in through that doorway, a little bit unlucky for Seth there. Overall, OG still has that good side. Spawn, every kill they get right here is going to matter just that much more, but just able to overflood. We see it time and time again on this map. Teams just aren't stacking in 4 at a time into the hill, and they pay for it against some of these other teams.
Question is, will they be able to push out of this hill and try and get some of that spawn control? Justus keep control of the hill. Finally, Optic's favorable spawns pay off and pay dividends. They have control of the hill now, and it looks as if they may be able to potentially tie this game up if it stays like this. Karma and Formal both still on the hard point. Karma jumps in, there's one. Can he find the second? Yes, he can. Hard point's gonna be contested. Free fires for the third. Can't connect. And you see Formal spawning out over at green. Now this is where Optic needs to be careful not to funnel straight in. Justus starting to build the lead. Back again. 15 seconds left on this hill. And is this now when Optic Gaming should think about rotation, team?
Yeah, most definitely. This scrap is not really what you want to fight for this school hill. You really want to get control of this middle box area, force the other team to spawn at the back trailer, and force them to go through the very narrow hallways over at lockers. You want to try and get pick control, but Justus player able to take out two in a row for them. Looking like they're going to be able to break it, but Scump and Crim able to clutch up for them. Kills going back and forth, but it seems like Optic's able to retain control largely due to Formal's 2-piece, getting that battle into this close quarter combat.
Formal picks up 1. That's going to be Slasher. Pre-fires towards mid-door, able to connect with that as well. Meanwhile, Karma pre-firing through. Has one more play from Justus to try and beat. Not going to be able to do so, as someone from Justus currently on a 3 streak. Scumpy will be challenging, and that's going to be a 4 streak. Looking to see if he can shut down Crim for 5. LR reload, but spins around, gets the assist just in time, and the reload complete. Justus really taking it to the green wall in the first rotation of hills. Still 15 seconds left of time here, and this is big time for Justus if they can extend that lead even further. Optic Gaming could potentially be in some trouble here.
Yeah, I have to note that there's a lot of grenades going on. We see every time a wave of the other team spawn, whether it is OG or Just, a wave of nades go in, makes all the players shuffle around the hill, and that's why the score is so close. I do have to say that Just outplayed Optic a little bit on those rotations on that first half of this map, but overall, we saw OG bring it back very, very quickly on the garage. We need to see if they're going to be able to replicate that sort of success here, but like I said before, you can't let this score get too far away on the middle box and green. They are the scrappy hills, but you can still get a lot of time if you're able to slay out.
Absolutely. Formal 28 and 18 so far, with just half of the first hill and the second rotation gone. Really looking at leading Optic Gaming in terms of slaying and trying to claw themselves back into this one. Everyone else around that 14 to 16 kill mark on the team. Scumpy actually just got a stomp on someone from Justus. And you see Formal just really playing with a lot of confidence, double jumping up, trying to connect with kills, dashing around the halfway, making himself as difficult as possible to shut down. As Optic will pick up that final 7 seconds of time, reduce that deficit further. But the spawns for green, that's what's going to be key. Karma's going to fall inside of school. Justus will keep a little bit of control, as green is completely locked down as of right now. And the question is, how are Optic going to try and break this perfect setup?
Same sort of mistake we're seeing on the rotation again from OG, just not focusing on the rotation fast enough, getting that scrap time at the middle box, not really what you want to be focusing for. It's just sort of a waste, putting yourself 3 people stacked up at that middle street, but Formal apparently proves me wrong, just breaking the hill single-handedly almost, but nades coming in once again, just out-stacking the hill so much better, racking up so much time, but we see it's all about the rotation. Each kill they're getting is much more beneficial. See how far on that minimap those blue arrows are spawning out.
And look at the lead now, TP. 190 to 131. Justice really starting to pull away from Optic Gaming, and they need to really break into this hard point in the 16 seconds of scrap. I mean, arguably, Garage going to be so crucial, and there is going to be a big gunfight actually going over any second now. Scumpy needs to win it. He does. And for now, Optic Gaming seems set that they will be able to pick up the early time, but damage done from Justice. Locked down Green for pretty much the entire 60 seconds.
Green is definitely a very important hill on this map, and Justice have got the better of it both times. Large score going in. Another break from Justice right about now. One person from OG trying to get in the front window. It is Krim. Huge gunfight win right here, but he is stuck alone in the hill trying to grenade his bottom, but overall, 4 dead once again. Spawning out again. It seemed like OG had that control of the hill, but they're just able to walk in easily. I think it's due to all the grenades going on the map, always having to shuffle around, get those trophies down instantly so the grenades can just do damage, make the other team one shot. Knife battle going down between Seth and someone on Justice. Great stuff overall, but Seth gets sliced and diced.
Formal at 37 and 29 is doing absolutely everything, but I can't believe I'm about to say this. Justice almost have a 100-point lead on Optic Gaming here on Hardpoint Detroit, the first map in the best of 7. With just 2 minutes remaining, Optic really need to step things up. They really can't afford to make any mistakes at this point, TP. Literally 0 mistakes, which is going to be almost impossible to do with the way Justice have been playing. In fact, I think this one is pretty much over.
It's not very good to see. OG doesn't seem to be going for rotations at all on this map. Not one time. They sort of got lucky and got that spawn at garage initially on the first half of the rotations, but already Justice 1 point away. It's looking pretty grim for Optic, and there's the last one. And it's basically simple on why OG went so far down so early. They, instead of keeping that school control on that first hill, they were just hovering around it, going for that scrap for way too long. You got to send Formal, Scump, 3, 4 people to that back trailer. That scrappy time doesn't matter too much. Justice was able to get so much time on Green. Had to have been over 80 seconds combined on the 2 Green hills, and that's really what set them apart too far. When you go down that far so early on Detroit, it's just so hard to come back.
Fantastic game number 1 coming out of the boys, and Justice Optic going to be left thinking about what went wrong. For now, quick commercial break. When we return, jumping over to Search and Destroy.